All right, hey gang. Today we'll be talking about some guitar picks. So, gonna get a little close up here. Audio's not the greatest, just coming straight out of my webcam. But, okay, so quick sound. Okay, but the big debate that I kind of wanted to discuss is we have the idea of sharp picks versus rounded picks, right? So I have a variety of some picks here. That'd be a good example of a rounded pick. Okay, this is actually a three-sided pick. So there's a very smooth edge over here, and then it has two slightly more triangular edges. And then we have a pick like this that has a very sharp point, okay? And just so you know, can't see that very well, but that is a honey pick. Oh. All right, I don't know, I'm gonna have to work on that one. Honey pick, got it off Etsy. All right, great pick. This one is actually 3.5 millimeters. This is a pretty thin in terms of millimeter style, so that's about a 1.2 millimeter pick. Okay, so all that really has a lot to do with the sound and everything. And we have an example of just a standard kind of Clayton pick I used for a long time. I think this is a 0.85, is that right? 0.8, yeah. 0.80 millimeters, Clayton. You know, standard kind of teardrop shape, right? Not entirely. Forget what kind of shape they call that one, but that's pretty standard. And I found for me, using the rounder edge was actually quite nicer. I got a lot of resistance and drag against the sharper edge of the pick. Okay, so I'm just going to start with this one, and then I've been working on an upward pick slant this direction, okay, and I also play like this as well, kind of standard. You know, and I found that this allows me to isolate my wrist a little bit more. I found that I was locking up my wrist a little too much this way, but I also play a variety of styles, and I do a lot of fingerstyle picking, play classical guitar, so you can see that I have plenty of pick action on my fingers as well. So for me, that makes a big deal because I need some clearance on some of these larger picks to make it work. Okay, but sometimes I think I just gave myself an excuse to use bigger picks. Anyway, there's a lot of advantages to all these little concepts. All right, anyway, so this is the standard Clayton. So you get a really nice, even tone. I find when I start trying to do more like this, I really have to angle my wrist out, you know, because I get some more drag against the pick, and that's when the rounder side of the pick actually works a lot better for me, especially when I'm trying to do like a tremolo, stuff like that. So I've experimented with using a floating wrist, try to play more gypsy jazz style, and then using some type of planting, okay, or some type of reference, okay. Usually it's going to be up in this area on your hand, and you can use that for more lateral motion or a slight rotation of the forearm, which we've kind of discussed in many videos here. Okay, so that's kind of action I can get that way. This way, get a little softer tone, go this way, but it allows me to isolate the wrist a little bit more, and it feels much smoother. Either way, if I use the sharper end of the pick, I feel I have a lot more control. Okay, however, I've tried many picks over the years, very thick picks, okay, so this is an example. This is a Dunlop, this is a prime tone. I think that's also a 3 millimeter. This one actually has beveled edges. This is designed for a right-handed player, okay, so the edges are beveled, so they slant automatically even if you're using more of a flat picking style, okay. I find that these get really chirpy and squeaky, but also pretty smooth. Okay, really works well. lots of reasons, but that bevel doesn't really work well for the upward slant as it does. Better, it's designed for the downward slant. So if I'm going this way, it's actually designed for that, and I find myself locking my elbow more in this direction. Okay, but works pretty well this way. But you know, you got to have a right or left-handed pick. Okay, so I actually tried this pick. This is actually a Wegen, W-E-G-E-N, hand-carved pick, and this is a 1mm pick. But this has a left-handed bevel. But this feels good either way because it is so thin. And nice and smooth. Okay. I think it works really well either way. Okay, and this, I mean, it feels really nice if you're doing like hybrid picking. So as we move on, one pick that I really liked for a while was this gravity pick. Okay, so this is the Gravity Trip pick. Okay, now this guy is 6mm. All right, okay, and try and mix these other guys. Yeah, this is claimed to be 6mm. It looks more like it's maybe 4, something like that. However, maybe this one's a little wider than I thought it was. That might actually be closer to a 5mm pick. Okay, and again, that was the Dunlop Prime Tone. Okay, this one is also, thus the name Trip. It is a 3-sided pick, so it has a very rounded, smooth edge over here. Then it has a rounded, more pointy edge. Okay, and then it has a sharp edge. It comes to a pretty good point on the tip there. So each of these, the point of this video is to talk about the difference of the sound. You get more bite compared to the rounder edge. It's just, it sounds a little bit duller, but it's smoother, feels anyway. You know, this is not the pointiest tip, but it works really well either way. Problem with the thicker picks is you get this chirpy, especially when you're on the bridge pickup. So you can hear that. Okay, so you don't want that coming through. So if you're on the neck pickup, you don't get any of that. And then if you play real close to the bridge, you're not going to get the chirp. Okay, but then you get just a real tinty, trembly sound. So, probably really good for rhythm, but for lead, probably better to do the bridge pickup. So, and I do find the thicker picks are very comfortable in the hand. Okay. All right, moving on. So, going back to this honey pick. Now I find this one doesn't like the light too much. Okay, this is the Seafoam Green honey pick. No. All right. Anyway, again, yeah, this is a, I think this is a 5.6mm pick. Okay, so this is definitely a chunky pick, but this has a very sharp pick, and that pops, almost gives you a little more volume. So the note definition is much clearer. With the sharper picks, not quite as smooth. Some of that is compensated for the thickness of the pick. So if I put this again on the bridge pick up here, not quite as much chirp. Definitely still there though. Okay, and again, I'm working a lot on this upward picking motion. This way works really well either way. Okay, and going back to this is also a Wegen. This is a Tremus. Okay, I do believe. Okay, again, a 3-sided pick, so that really rounded, smooth edge just glides over the strings. It definitely gives you a fatter, warmer tone. You get less articulation, but it definitely is smoother movement through the strings. Okay, across if you're playing fast. But this is great for the treble. Really feels good for rhythm playing. And it's easy to switch the side. So now I'm on this side. Whoa, can you see that? Yeah, okay. So, and again, this is designed for right-handed players. But since it is pretty thin, again, 1.2 millimeter. Okay, it actually works really well either way. Can really get in there, but it just feels a little bit weird because it's not designed for right-handed picking. Okay, so next up is the Dava. Okay, now these come in different pick ends. This one is more like the Jazz 3, really sharp triangular pick. Okay, so this one has a nice bite to it, I feel, right? You can tell those notes really pop out. Okay, but this way, I think it works really well. You know, because picks are easy to lose, right? Okay, so cost is a factor. These guys are not too much, right? The Dunlop picks are not very much. You get into that, this guy, that's a $7 pick, right? Okay, so you don't want to lose that guy. Okay, let alone this one. Okay, this one ain't too bad, 12 bucks. Right, you know, you spend a lot on your guitar, why not spend something on the thing you actually play it with? But, the trip, I don't even want to take this outside. It's like 22 bucks, right? You know, so, yeah. Scary. I got one of these. I'll lose it. If I get used to playing that at a gig and I lose it, man, that's a bad day. Been there. Lost a bag of expensive picks once and just trying to find something better. Okay, these are actually very good. Okay, so these are also gravity picks. Okay, this is the 003 XL based on the Jazz 3. Okay, the Jazz 3 XL. And I think this is a 1.5 millimeter. It has a nice sharp but slightly beveled tip. Okay, so it's kind of a medium, go between. Sounds really nice. That upward pick, you know, slightly softer tone. You know, almost there. It's amazing how different these can feel. Okay, so I've been trying this one. Now, I really like the Jazz Tone Dunlops, right? This is a Jazz Tone, that's a 208. Okay, so it's a big pick, pointier tip. Okay, tried this out for a while. I think you get a really warm tone with that one. Great for rhythm. Just really smooth. So they got a whole series of these, which I think is really interesting. Okay, so we have a nice teardrop shape. There we go. I think I lost that one. Okay, before we get into that more teardroppy design, this one. Okay, a jazz player friend of mine turned me on to this guy. He's like, just buy these. Nothing else. So this is the 207. So this is very curved. All right. Nice rounded tip. Okay, these are about, I think, 1.2 millimeter as well. But these guys are super smooth. Super. So if you do a lot of sweet picking, or economy style picking, they really glide over the strings. Use a little definition. And I also find they really great using that upper pick slant, or reverse picky motion, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, super smooth. thing. All right, you lose your picks, right? Bad day when you lose your picks. Got bags of these things. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Right. Okay, so let me see. There it is. Voila. Okay, this guy I've really been having a good time with. All right, so this is definitely a teardrop shape. Okay, this is also a jazz tone, so it's all the same as far as thickness, about 1 to 1, maybe 2 millimeters. Same tip as the 208, right? But slightly different. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, almost. The 208, this guy, oh, got my hands backwards. The 208 pick is sharper. This one, I don't know, the angle. It comes in not quite at the same angle where the 208's more like that. Okay, this guy is more like that. Which one is that again? Oh, how easy it is to lose a pick. Okay, the 206. All right, don't forget you can use the back end of these guys, which is really nice. So that gives you that really smooth round edge. You can hear that nice fatness. Depends on what you're going for. If you got a lot of, overdrive, you might want that sharper attack, but really love these guys. Okay, so don't underestimate the tip, the thickness, and the shape of your pick. You should be trying a lot of these different things. Now, in general, if you're kind of a newbie, I'd recommend thinner picks so you get a little bit more give, so you can really learn how to relax while you're playing. And then as you get more and more advanced, you're going to go with a sharper, potentially thicker pick, which I definitely like, because you get a lot more control. Because you really have to get that tip right up against the string, just barely moving over the tip of that string sometimes. Gives you a lot of power and sound and volume and punch when you're playing. Super, super important. All right, so check them out. These are the jazz tones, right? The whole series. Okay, so the jazz tone 206, 207, and 208, my top picks for the pick discussion today. Thank you.